All right, thanks, guys. Obviously busy today, but did not want to miss a day, did not want to miss an upload. We got the steering wheel in the way as we are recording from the car. So hopefully the audio is good and you can hear me. Unfortunately, we're going to miss a couple of the early games, but let's go ahead and dive into some of these later games. A little bit of a modified slate here today, so we're not missing a whole lot, only a handful of games. But let's go ahead and dive into the Rockies taking on the Nationals. Now that's going to be a 4:05 Eastern first pitch in the nation's capital. Washington's minus 300. They are heavily favored in this matchup here. We do have a total at 9 runs. I haven't seen a whole lot of movement in the early wagering when it comes to the money line. We did see a little bit of movement upward on the total. So once again, Washington open minus 300. Total open 8.5 up to 9. 62% of the consensus is leaning toward the Nationals. 60% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Rockies are plus 250 on the money line, and at the moment, the Nationals are minus $1.50 on the run line. Now we have Jeff Hoffman for the Rockies, Max Scherzer for the Nats. Scherzer comes into this game with a 9-5 record, 2.30 ERA, and a whole lot of strikeouts. Meanwhile, on the other side, Jeff Hoffman for the Rockies is just 1-3 with a 6.75 ERA. Now the Nationals are second in the NL East. They're only 4 games back of Atlanta in the division. They also have that first wild card spot pretty much locked up right now. Obviously not locked up for good, but of course if the season ended today, they would be in that first wild card spot. Now the Rockies on the other side really struggling this year. They're last in the NL West, 8 games under 500, just 47-55 overall for the year. And for semantics, they are 19 games back in the NL West. Really struggling away from home as well. Winners in just 21 out of 52 when traveling. Now, Colorado has really been getting pounded as of late. Losers in 9 out of their last 10 ball games. They're also last in hits allowed on average per game. Now, total-wise, Colorado is 28th in runs allowed on average per game. Meanwhile, Washington is 10th in home scoring. So with all that in mind, pretty chalky lean here, but I'm going to go Nationals minus 1.5 in the over 9 runs in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Thursday's Major League Baseball action. The weekend is almost here, and for some folks out there who work summer hours, the weekend is pretty much here. But anyway, just want to quickly remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. We do daily plays on that site, and we had a pretty good success a few days ago. Kind of a tough one yesterday. We did pick up a nice win on Cleveland, but we are doing incredibly well in our daily double package. So check us out at patreon.com/BrockPage. Link for that site is in the description section below. All right, guys, let's go ahead and hop into some more lines and personal leans for Thursday's Major League Baseball action. All starts Eastern Standard Time, and on deck we have the Yankees taking on the Red Sox. 7:10 Eastern first pitch at Fenway. The Yankees are minus 125, totals 11. 58% are leaning Yankees, 70% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Red Sox are plus 105 on the money line. The Yankees plus $1.20 on the run line. We have Masahiro Tanaka for the Yankees, Rick Porcello for the Red Sox. Porcello comes into this ball game here today with a 5.61 ERA in that particular category there. Now, Tanaka on the other side for the Yankees, he's 7-5 on the year. Boston is 11 games back of the Yankees in the AL East. They're third in the AL East, and they're just 17-32 against the spread at home at Fenway. And of course, when I refer to the spread or the number or covering in Major League Baseball, I'm actually referring to the run line. So once again, Boston just 17-32 ATS at Fenway this year. They're also second to last in Major League Baseball in walks allowed at home. Now the Yankees on the other side, they're first in scoring, third in road hits, 8th in runs allowed. The Yankees have the best record in the American League. They are 66-35 overall for the year, 31 games over 500. They're also 10 games ahead of Tampa Bay in the division. Yankees pretty good on the road as well, 28-18 when traveling. Now, when it comes to the total, the Yankees are 34-12 to the over away from home. Meanwhile, Boston's 29-20 to the over in Fenway. So with all that in mind, another chalky lean here. Give me the Yankees minus $1.25 and the over 11 runs in that game. All right, next matchup. Twins, White Sox, 8-10 Chicago, guaranteed rate field. The Twins are minus 135, totals 8.5. We did see a 10-cent move toward the Twins, a movement downward on the total. Minnesota open $1.25 up to minus 135. Total open at 9, down to 8.5. 58% are leaning Twins, 51% shaded toward the over. Right now, the White Sox are plus 125 on the money line. The Twins plus $1.20 on the run line. We have Jose Barrios for the Twins, Lucas Giolito for the White Sox. Now, Giolito's been outstanding this year. A lot of strikeouts for him. But on the other side, Jose Barrios has been very good himself. He's 8-5 on the year, 2.96 ERA. Now, the White Sox have really struggled to put up runs. They are 28th in scoring on average per game. They're also 24th in striking out. They've dropped 10 out of their last 13 ball games. They're 3rd in the AL Central, and they're 15 games back of these very Twins in that division. And of course, the Twins first in the AL Central, 21 games over 500, 61-40 overall for the year. They're also 8-2 in their last 10, taking on the White Sox if you're into historical trends. Minnesota's also been pretty good on the road this year, 30-19 when traveling. They're also 2nd in road scoring on average per game and 1st in road hits. Now, total-wise, Minnesota is 30-19 to the over away from home. So I'm going to lean Minnesota Twins minus 135 and the over 8.5 in that game. Next matchup, Indians, Royals, 8:15 Kauffman Stadium, Kansas City. The Indians are minus 135, totals at 10. We saw a whole lot of movement in this one, and as a matter of fact, we saw a 25-cent fade of Cleveland in the early wagering. We also saw movement downward on the total. The Indians opened $1.60, down to minus 135. Total open 10.5, down to 10 flat. 66% are leaning Indians, 52% shaded toward the under. Right now, Kansas City is plus 125 on the money line. The Indians are minus 105 on the run line. We have Adam Plutko for the Indians, Mike Montgomery for the Royals. Montgomery's just 1-3 with a 7.15 ERA. Meanwhile, on the other side for the Indians, Plutko comes into this game with a 3-2 record. The Royals are 25th in scoring on average per game. They're also 24th in walks allowed. They're 4th in the AL Central. 25 games under 500 at just 39-64 overall for the year. They're also 23 games back in that division. Now, the Indians on the other side, 9-2 in their last 11. They also won 8 out of their last 9 when traveling. They are first in the wild card right now, 59-42 overall for the year, 18 games over 500. They're also 27-21 when traveling. Now, the Indians are 80% to the under in their last 5. Meanwhile, the Royals 4-1 to the under in their last 5 themselves. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean Cleveland Indians minus 135 and the under 10 runs in that matchup there. Next game, Orioles, Angels, 10:07 Los Angeles. The Angels are minus 200, totals at 10. We did see a 30-cent fade of Los Angeles in the early wagering. Not a whole lot of movement on the total as of yet. LA open 230, down to minus 200. Totals at 10 flat. 68% are leaning Baltimore, and at the moment the Orioles are plus 185 on the money line. The Angels minus $1.20 on the run line. We have Tom Eshelman for the Orioles, Jose Suarez for the Angels. Suarez is 2-1 on the year. Meanwhile, Eshelman on the other side comes into this ball game with a 6.90 ERA. Now, Baltimore has the most losses in Major League Baseball, leading the league in losses. They are 32-69 overall for the year, and if my math is correct, that's going to put them at 37 games under 500. They are 34 games back in the division. They've also won just 17 out of 50 when traveling. Now, the Angels are 4 games back in that wild card spot, that second wild card spot. They're 54 and 49 overall for the year. Obviously playing very inspired baseball as of the past couple of weeks. They're 5-2 in their last 7 at home, 8th in home scoring, 7th in home walks. And when it comes to the total in this one, Baltimore is 30 and 20 to the under when traveling. The Angels are 4-2 to the under in their last 6. I'm going to lean LA Angels minus 1.5 and the under 10 runs in that game. All right, next matchup, we have the Rangers taking on the Athletics. 10:07 Eastern first pitch in Oakland. The A's are minus 170, totals 9.5. Not a whole lot of movement on the total, although we did see a 15-cent fade of Oakland in the early wagering. They open $1.85 down to minus 170, totals at 9.5. 63% are leaning Oakland, 58% shaded toward the over. Right now, Texas is plus 160 on the money line. Oakland plus $1.15 on the run line. We have Ariel Jurado for the Rangers, Brett Anderson for the A's. Anderson's 9-5 with a 3.82 ERA. Meanwhile, Jurado on the other side, 5-6 on the year and a 4.92 ERA. Oakland's second in the AL West, 13 games over 500. They're 58 and 45 overall for the year. They're also leading in that second wild card spot in the American League. Oakland 6-0 in their last 6 at home, 14-6 in their last 20 at any location. They're also 5th in runs allowed at home. Texas on the other side, winners in just 20 out of 50 when traveling. They've dropped 9 out of their last 10 ball games. They rank dead last in striking out. A lot of Ks, really struggling to make contact for these Rangers hitters. They're also 27th in hits allowed, and they are 14 games back in the AL West. Now, total-wise, this is an interesting stat here. I'm getting word that the wind is actually blowing in from center field at roughly 14 miles an hour toward home plate. So the wind is blowing in, and it's blowing quite heavily. Texas is also 5-1 to the under in their last 6. Oakland 5-2 to the under in their last 7 themselves. I'm going to lean Oakland minus 170 and the under 9.5 runs in that game. All right, next and final matchup for the show, it is going to be Tigers-Mariners. 10-10 Seattle. The Mariners are minus 175 at home, totals at 10. Detroit is plus 155 on the money line. We have Verhagen for the Tigers. Allegedly, that's their probable. At least that is what is listed. We also have Weisler for the Mariners. Now, the Mariners are last in the AL West. 21 games under 500 right now at just 42 and 63 overall for the year. They're 24.5 games back in that division. Seattle's dropped 7 out of their last 10. They've also won just 22 out of 54 at home this year. They rank 27th in striking out on average per game. They're also second to last in runs allowed. Now, total-wise, the Mariners are 36 and 18 to the over at home, 8-4 to the over in their last dozen. I'm going to lean Detroit Tigers plus 1.5 and the over 10 runs in that game. All right, guys, that is going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage. Link for that site is in the description section below. But most importantly, I got to thank you for watching today's program right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free information. And as always, don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage.